If you look at this plate and feel a little bit nostalgic, we might be the same age. Sometimes I just gotta keep it simple and do a good old spaghetti Saturday. But I grew up not always having fried chicken with spaghetti, but I have had it a few times. And I don't know why, it just hit different. Maybe because the spaghetti is so soft and then the chicken is so crunchy. Everything about it was the bomb. Now I put the seasonings for everything I use in the description, but I did not put a measurement because as you can see, I did not measure. With 3 boys in this house yelling and screaming and asking me for something every 5 minutes, sometimes I really do not have the time to measure. Now, one day I'm gonna let my voiceover go over the background of my actual video and y'all gonna see what I mean. I didn't have buttermilk, so I used 3 eggs, some whole milk, and some pickle juice. Then I tried to be nice and not use my hands to stir everything together, but that didn't work, so I got nitty and gritty. I easily wash my hands at least 16 times when I cook. Now I'm going to season a flour mixture with the same seasonings I used before. Now, if you do not smell your seasoning, it's not seasoned enough. If your flour does not change colors drastically, it is not seasoned enough. And trust me when I say I put my whole titty in these chicken wings. I added some cornstarch and I stirred it all up. Now, like I said, you should be able to smell the seasoning in this flour. And sometimes you got to go a little heavy on the seasoning because you can't taste test it in the beginning. Now I'm starting on my Getty sauce. And yes, I said Getty. And of course, I season the veggies with salt and pepper. I let those cook for about 3 to 4 minutes only because I'm going to blend them with some diced tomatoes. Now, I don't know about you, but I grew up with an uncle that was heavy-handed with the onions and peppers and spaghetti sauce. And I mean big slices of peppers and onions, and it drove me crazy. So for the sake of my childhood, I blended that with some diced tomatoes and roasted garlic. I cook my meat. Of course, I season that as well, too. And the best part about the spaghetti sauce and the meat is that you can taste test it as you go. So you can lightly season it and add more seasoning as you cook it. And that's pretty much what I did. I started off with a small amount of seasoning. And when everything was cooked, I was able to taste test it and get it to mine and my kids' liking. Now that that's going, I started to start my chicken. I like to pat my flour into my chicken. There are many different ways to bread chicken, and no, I don't use the wet hand, dry hand thing. I'm just going all out. If the oil ain't hot, chicken ain't fried. Now, I drain my ground beef on a paper plate so that all the oils and fat can go to the bottom, and then when it's all cooled, I can just throw it out. Now it's time to start cooking my sauce. I think I cooked it for about 45 minutes. You see what I mean about that chicken? Do you see what I mean about the chicken? If the oil ain't hot, it will not look like this. Trust me, I know. I also added a can of tomato sauce to my sauce, and I started mixing and seasoning everything up. I can tell you guys what I use, and you can adjust as you go, but no, I did not measure. And that is sugar, not salt. And sugar goes in spaghetti sauce not to sweeten it, but to cut the acidity of the tomatoes. Now, I ain't a chef, but I heard that on Food Network. I had this little baguette that I got from Target, and sadly, I ran out of my homemade butter, but I still got Kerrygold. I put it in the microwave for about 20 seconds. I didn't want to fully melt it. Then I added that roasted garlic, some salt, some parsley, and some freshly grated Parmesan. And when I tell y'all this bread was so good, I wanted to marry it. I swear, this is the bread I'm going to use to catch my man. I added some fresh mozzarella and put it in the oven on 425 for about 15 minutes. Now add some of that pasta water right to the spaghetti sauce. And add your spaghetti right from the water directly into the sauce. At this point, I already added the ground beef back in there, so there you go. Mix it all up, plate it good, and you get this. And this is definitely a kid-friendly meal. If you don't believe me, look at my baby. He is my pickiest eater, and he tearing everything up. If the kids like it, you know it's good. I